Coming into the 2023 NFL season, Tyreek Hill made some extremely bold claims and goals that he wanted to accomplish for this season.
Will break 2,000 yards next year, bro.
Mhm. I'm with it. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Y'all heard him. He just checking stuff off his bucket list.
I got y'all, baby. 2,000 yards and another Super Bowl. We getting that. Believe that.
And a lot of people thought he was crazy. They thought Tua would not be able to get it done. Even if Tyreek would be wide open, Tua would be able to deliver the ball to him. But through 6 weeks, this could not be further from the truth. The Dolphins just beat the Panthers 42-21, putting up another incredible offensive game, and this is with missing a few pieces on offense like Devon A-Chain, who I was actually going to make a video about because of how dominant he's been. But he and the Miami Dolphins are on a record-setting pace. But the crazy thing is, it shouldn't even be a surprise, because before the NFL season even started, he had this instilled in him. He said as a child, this was his goal, that he wanted to break this. And the Dolphins as a team have the most yards through 5 weeks. I mean, we don't know about all the week 6 graphics and stats yet. I'm not sure. I didn't go through and do calculations for the video, but this is a graphic from week 5. After week 5, the Dolphins had the most yards through 5 weeks in NFL history, above the 2000 St. Louis Rams, which is regarded as one of the greatest offenses of all time, and the 2011 Patriots, which was Tom Brady at the peak of his powers. And the Dolphins are able to put up yardage like this and be historic offensively because of the genius of Mike McDaniels. But Mike McDaniels is not the only catalyst for this storm. I mean, the Dolphins could honestly be renamed to the Legion of Zoom and take that Chiefs team's title because they have speedsters all over the field. And offensively, they are on a record-breaking pace, like I said many times before this. On your screen right now is the top 10 highest scoring offenses in the NFL's history. At 10 is the 2016 Falcons with 540. At 9 is the 1983 Redskins with 541. 2011 Saints with Drew Brees is 547. The 98 Vikings had 556. That's rookie Randy Moss, Chris Carter, and Randall Cunningham. The 2012 Pats, which is Aaron Hernandez, you know, everything that happened with him, but Gronk and Tom Brady at the peak of his powers with Edelman and all those guys. The 2011 Packers, who went 15-1, and Aaron Rodgers had that incredible season. The 2018 Chiefs, which was Mahomes' first year starting, where he threw 50 touchdowns. 07 Pats, Brady threw 50 touchdowns, broke the touchdown record. And the 2013 Broncos with Peyton Manning, Demaryius Thomas. And when Peyton Manning came in and broke the touchdown record with 55 touchdowns in an NFL season, where they scored 606 points. Through 6 games, the Miami Dolphins have scored 223 points. And on a 17-game pace, that comes out to about 631 projected points by the end of the year. The Miami Dolphins are a historic offense so far. Through 6 weeks, there's no denying that. You can say whatever you want about if they'll keep it up, Tua being healthy, which he has been healthy, but you never know. He's had an injury history, he's had a concussion history, and Tua's health has not been consistent throughout his career, to say the least. But a huge part of this offense being historic is that Tyreek Hill has been unreal. And to put into perspective how insane and historic Tyreek Hill's start to this NFL season has been, on the screen is the most yards per game in a single season by a player in NFL history. At 1 is Wes Chandler with 129 yards per game in 1982, and this is only a game sample size, so you know, like he went crazy. He had 129 yards per game, but it wasn't a full season. 124.7 by Charlie Hennigan in 1961, 124.6 by Elroy Hirsch in 1951, 122.8 by Calvin Johnson in 2012 when he set the receiving record, which he still has to this day, and 118.6 yards per game by Jim Benton in 1945. But Tyreek Hill in 2023 has been averaging 135 yards per game, which is unheard of. And this guy is an NFL offense by himself, and he's 6 yards per game, which is basically the difference between Wes Chandler to Calvin Johnson at 6.2 yards per game. That's the difference between Tyreek Hill and Wes Chandler at 6 yards per game at 1 and 2. But this is not the only statistical category that Tyreek Hill is leading all time just to start this season. I mean, this is the most single season yards per catch with a minimum of 100 receptions, because there's guys from like 1937 who put up insane 33 yards per catch with like 20 reception seasons, which obviously is not relevant to what I'm trying to look at. So you see at 16.1 yards per catch in Calvin Johnson's incredible record-breaking year, like we already went over before. Rod Smith with 16 per catch, 15.5 per catch by Andre Johnson in 2009. Julio Jones in 2014 with 15.3 yards per catch, and 15.3 yards per catch by Charlie Hennigan in 1964. And again, Tyreek Hill tops the list, because so far in 2023, Tyreek Hill has put up 19.4 yards per catch. And that's just incredible. I mean, obviously, it's pretty hard to sustain 20 yards per catch, but I mean, in 6 games with 40 catches so far, he's been averaging that. And I know people expect it to drop. People are like, I mean, this isn't sustainable. But honestly, for Tyreek Hill, it actually is. And the reason I believe this to be the case is because Tyreek Hill had an incredible 2022 season as well, where he had 1,700 yards, 100.6 yards per game, and 7 touchdowns. And it even goes deeper than the surface level stats, because as we all know, Tua had a lot of injury issues last season, and he did only end up missing 4 games. But in the 4 games that Tua Tagovailoa was not playing, Tyreek Hill's numbers dropped significantly. He went from 94 receptions, 108 yards per game, and 7 receiving touchdowns to 25 receptions, 75.5 yards per game, and 0 receiving touchdowns. And that's in 4 games without Tua Tagovailoa. And he wouldn't have been on pace to break the yards, but he did start off at a pace where he would have broken the yards. But, Tua was in and out. They didn't have a consistent QB, and things fell through. But now, Tua, Mike McDaniel, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Devon Achane, even though he's down now, but he'll be back, and Raheem Mostert have all improved and are all coming together for a Legion of Zoom Part 2 in Miami. And these guys are speedy. They can break the game at any moment. And we've never seen a speedy team like this before, which is why they're coming in and putting up incredible point totals like the 70 they dropped on Denver's head, or the insane 700 yards they dropped on Denver. And they just dropped 400 yards last week. They have incredible offensive games week in and week out, dropping 35 plus like it's nothing. And like I said earlier, Tyreek Hill has had an incredible start to the season. But if you really want to break down the numbers, 814 yards, 135 yards per game, and 6 touchdowns. He's already on pace to break the amount of touchdowns he had last year by next game. Even though touchdowns are a weird stat, you never know. Some games you can have 3 touchdowns and you might go the next 5 weeks without scoring a touchdown. It's just, there's a lot of different factors that go into scoring touchdowns. But Tyreek Hill is a game breaker, and he's one of those guys that I feel good about placing that bet about Tyreek Hill scoring a touchdown, because I know he can give you a big play, a 70, 80 yard after the catch run to score a touchdown from the 5, or you know what I mean? Something crazy and game breaking. But if he keeps up this pace, Tyreek Hill would finish the season with almost 2,300 yards at 135 yard per game pace with 17 touchdowns. And this is literally like, I took the numbers and I multiplied it by 2.8. So it's not like, there's a lot of stuff that I'm not taking into account. This is just if he keeps the pace up. But the point is that it is a sustainable pace, even if the yards per game fluctuate a little bit. But Tyreek Hill is doing incredible things this year, and he is off to a start that we've never seen before. And there's no reason, if you're an NFL fan, if you've been watching the games, you've been seeing what he's been doing, for you to really not believe in this man. He spoke it into existence, or he's speaking it into existence, and I'm here for it. Tyreek is one of those guys. He's a dog. I mean, he's really gone and proved everybody wrong. And you never know. At the rate the Dolphins are going, he might be able to accomplish all his goals, winning a Super Bowl this year with a historic offense, maybe the greatest offense of all time, and putting up the greatest wideout season we've ever seen. But that's it for this video today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff, share it, and comment. And I'm out of here. Peace.